Last time on Corpse Party, Book of Shadows. Is it even possible for a house cat to be threatening? Yes! My fellow cat owners, rise up! Damn she fine. Damn she fine. You've come for me, Tsukasa. Who's Tsukasa?
My name is Yui Shishido. I'm 17. My dream is to be a teacher.
A pencil for guaranteed success. Really jerked out a miracle. Really shouldn't have used that phrasing. I mean, I was looking at you and I thought, jerking and... yeah, never mind.
I'll do my best, Tsukasa.
Greetings, my beautiful viewers. I am the Hunter of Comedy, and welcome back to Corpse Party, although it doesn't seem like it right now. Book of Shadows. Oh boy. So, last time we actually had a break from all the sadness, and now things are kind of happy as Yui is remembering who I can only assume is her first love. So, yes, we're gonna follow this happiness train until it eventually dies and crashes and burns like everything that we love in this game. Oops, I didn't even read that.
I'll do my best, Tsukasa.
Glad to hear it. That's when I really started to fall for him. But it didn't seem like he noticed, and there wasn't really any indication that he felt the same way anyway. I can still clearly recall the events of that day even now. It was October, the day before my entrance exam. The weather outside had been miserable since morning, and visibility was all but non-existent. It would be a bad omen if I were to slip and fall on the day before the exam, so I decided I'd wear boots to school, just to be safe.
See you later.
Huh? When I opened the door, I was shocked to see a white-haired old woman lying on the ground, soaked to the bone. Frantically rushed to her side.
Are you okay? Stay with me. Come on. Tell me what happened. Was it a hit and run?
The road running by my house was narrow and mostly only used by our neighbors. But it's not like it was closed off to outside traffic or anything, so hit and run wasn't out of the question. I looked over the old woman's body as best I could. Fortunately, there were no signs of any serious injury.
Doesn't seem like a car accident, at least. Young lady. Yes? You must not go to school today. What? You absolutely must not go! Huh?
The old woman raised herself up slightly and spoke hoarsely. From the tone in her voice, she seemed terribly desperate.
But I have to. Today is my last chance to practice for a college entrance interview. No, just stay home! Don't go! I have to go. The interview is part of the exam I'm worst at. Please tell me what's wrong. Where is your family? Will you go, no matter what? Yeah? In that case, please.
Not knowing what to say, I nodded apprehensively as the old woman began digging through her pockets. She produced what looked like a crumpled scrap of paper. As she was digging around, I noticed that her breath was becoming dangerously ragged and began considering my options to assist her. Really, I should have gone back into the house and called my mom. But there was something about her that kept me glued to the spot. I sensed desperation hiding in that broken gaze.
You must take this. What is it? A charm. A charm?
The old woman clutched my wrist and forcefully pressed the scrap of paper into my palm. Tilting her head, I unfolded the scrap and looked carefully at it. At first I thought I'd just been handed a piece of trash.
What?
When I unfolded it all the way, I saw that it was actually a paper doll in the shape of a human being. It's a human effigy, huh? And there was a name written on its torso. Yui Shishido.
Yes, my name, written plainly as day in easily legible brushstrokes. Why is my name on it? So it can protect you. Huh? If you don't write the name of the person you wish to protect, the charm won't work. Huh? Crazy. This is all crazy. I didn't understand any of it, save for one simple fact. This old woman was here specifically to give me this strange paper charm. As far as I were aware, we were total strangers to one another, but she clearly knew both my name and my address. No. I'm sorry. I know you came a long way to give this to me, but I don't want it. You don't want it? As I extended my arm to return the paper doll, I could sense her entire demeanor had changed. She raised her body up steadily from the wet asphalt. Why not? Well, I nearly killed myself bringing this to you. Why will no one listen to me? You must not enter Heavenly Host Elementary without this charm. Heavenly Host Elementary? Yes, you must not go. Don't go! As the old woman cried out, the paper doll flustered lightly to the ground. Almost instantaneously, it became soaked through with rainwater. My name began to run and quickly turned into an illegible black smudge. Seeing this, the old woman grabbed and tore at her hair. No! The charm! The way out has been lost! Ma'am? Please, calm down. Listen! You must not go to Heavenly Host Elementary. I think there's been some mistake. My school is Kisaragi Academy High. I've never even heard of Heavenly Host Elementary. Ma'am? Oh, God. Ooh. Oh, God. Mom, come quick! What's wrong? An old woman collapsed in front of our house. Call an ambulance! Okay. Paramedics arrived in a matter of minutes. The woman seemed to be unconscious by that point. However, the EMTs brought out a stretcher. Do either of you know this woman? No, she just collapsed in front of our house. We've never seen her before. All right. Would you be willing to ride with her in the ambulance? The idea of making this old woman go to the hospital by herself just seemed like it would have been a shameful thing to do. Sure, she was a stranger, but we had a lengthy conversation minutes before, so I couldn't very well say we had nothing to do with one another. Yui, you need to get to school. What? But... Don't worry, I'll go with her to the hospital. You have to practice for the interview today, right? Yeah, I guess I do. Thanks, Mom. I'll leave it to you then. Good luck! I was a little hesitant, but I knew I really had to go to school today no matter what. So I left the strange woman in my mom's care and, heading toward school, walked right by her stretcher. Suddenly, a hand rose from the limp form of the old woman and grabbed my skirt. Startled, I tried to jump away but found myself ensnared by her terrible bloodshot eyes. You must not go! Huh? After school, once my final practice interview had concluded, I reunited with my friends and engaged in the usual regime of gossip and small talk. Can you believe that? That's really scary. The hell was wrong with her? When I described the events of that morning, everyone's eyebrows rose. They were hanging on my every word and yelping in unison at key moments. Yui, maybe you should have stayed home today after all. Well, but I had that practice interview. I couldn't miss that, you know. I just hope nothing bad happens. Oh, come on, what could happen? Oh, you know what? When you mentioned Heavenly Host Elementary, I thought it sounded kind of familiar, and I just realized why. You know the 7 Wonders, right? 7 Wonders? You mean those urban legends about Kisaragi? Yeah, those. does Heavenly Host Elementary have some connection to them? One of the stories is called Yoshie Ever After. Ever heard of it? Yoshie. Why does that sound familiar for some reason? I don't know why. Definitely not. I've never heard of it either. What's it about? Well, it takes place at Heavenly Host Elementary, which once occupied the same plot of land where Kisaragi Academy now stands. Oh, okay. It said that one day after school, a female teacher who had been patrolling the ground slipped and fell on the stairs and died. Yoshie. Isn't that, that might be Sachiko's mother. The accident took place on a rainy October day just like this one, and occurred just after 7 at night. And supposedly, Yoshie still appears on days like this. Ever aware that she died at Heavenly Host, these many years ago, she now walks the halls of Kisaragi Academy, believing them to be her own. Wait, that's the story that we get told by Shinozaki. So Yui heard it here when she was a student! Holy shit! Oh, come on, no, is it true? Well, it wouldn't be one of the 7 wonders if someone hadn't actually seen it happen, right? That's really creepy. Why don't you head home, Yui? You're the only one who doesn't live nearby, so we can't walk with you. And given the stuff that old lady said to you? Yeah, it's always best to heed the warnings of the elderly. You might be right. I am still feeling kind of on edge. Probably best I go home and check in on Mom. I'll see you guys later then. Bye! See ya! Take care! Give it everything you've got tomorrow. I will! I quickly packed up my things and rushed out of the classroom. It was already about 5. It was getting dark, but if Kana's story was to be believed, I had until 7 before anything bad might happen. I continued wending? That's a weird word. I continued wending my way down the corridor. I just kept telling myself there's nothing to be afraid of. Even so, it felt like it took an extra long time to reach the shoe lockers. Man, I'm such a scaredy cat. Oh, hey, Shishido. Tsukasa! Heading home? Yep. What's with the big grin? It's nothing. Hey, why don't we walk together? At least part of the way? Sure, I don't mind. Great. When I looked at Tsukasa's face, my fear vanished, if but for a moment. These are the times when it's really nice to have boys around, I thought. Felt as long as he was by my side, nothing bad could happen. That is not how men work. I wish that's how men worked, but that's not how men work. Didn't hurt that I had a crush on him, of course. Of course not. Haha. God, who is that old lady, though? Because, like, I'm putting it out there because my first thought is, like, because of the whole time loop thing, wonder if that old lady was, like, old Miss Yui. Like, she, like, in some timeline, survived Heavenly Host and, like, ended up going back further than, like, you know, she intended. Like further back than, like, you know, regular. And so she became that old lady who tried to help herself in the past. That's all I can think of. The rain had let up since that morning, though it was still coming down. The two of us walked side by side, umbrellas held high. Oh, Tsukasa was talking and laughing excitedly the whole time, whereas I probably came off as preoccupied. I'm sure it was awkward. A vague sense of fear flickered inside me, and it was making me extraordinarily self-conscious. I'm certain it must have been reflected in my behavior. Shishido? You look kind of pale. Did something happen? Hey. Yeah. Something scary happened. Something scary? I probably seemed really on edge. Tsukasa was staring at me with this look of abject concern on his face. I was a little relieved that he'd asked, though. It felt good to tell him about what happened. I filled him in on all the details and explained how they related to Kana's ghost story. I did my absolute best to convey the dread I was feeling. But Tsukasa was, well, the 7 wonders of Kisaragi High, huh? Yeah. So you actually believe in that stuff? Sometimes I wish I could see the world through your eyes. What? You don't think it's scary?
It's weird, sure, but I wouldn't call it scary. I wouldn't worry about what that old woman said to you. I'm sure it's just a coincidence.
But...
Wouldn't it be better not to dwell on it either way? I mean, yeah, your encounter with her sounds like it was kind of unsettling, but she was probably just a little off, you know?
That's not the issue here. I wasn't asking you to solve my problems for me. Look, I just wanted to vent, okay? I just wanted you to listen.
What do you mean? That's what I've been doing.
No, not like that.
I don't get it. Are you angry about something? Guys always do this. It varies from person to person, of course, but guys invariably jump into looking for solutions to your problem or giving you advice on what to do. It is a very typical man thing. Yeah, some of my female friends have actually, called me out on that because, it's just instinctive. I'm just a problem solver. And yes, it's mostly men. I'm not going to deny it. But I think that, it's not all men. And, I know that I do it. But a big part of the reason I do it is because I'm a problem solver. When I see a problem, I want to find a solution for it. It's honestly part of my gamer instincts, honestly. When there's a problem in front of me, I'm instantly must solve. And if a friend is having a tough time, I'm like, okay, what can I do to help them because they are my friend? But it can sometimes come off as, a bit much, As a result, girls often can't be totally honest with them, or don't want to be, at any rate, and are forced to just bottle up their feelings. I'm not going to deny that that's a thing that definitely happens, but I mean, that's just as bad. Bottling up the feelings is bad. It's like a no-win situation,
I only wanted Tsukasa to share in some of my fears. If he were scared with me, that would have been enough.
But he's not. That's the point, though.
I didn't realize that Tsukasa telling me not to worry was his way of showing concern. I just thought he was brushing me off, and frankly, that annoyed me. My mind flashed back over and over again to the face, the eyes, and the hoarse voice of that old woman. Amplified and distorted by the ghost story, these images gradually darkened my mood. Maybe I was traumatized by the events I'd experienced. Maybe I was just frustrated and needed to lash out. I don't know.
No, Yui, no! Yui, no!
But for the first time ever, things have become decidedly uncomfortable between the two of us. Okay, well, this is me.
Right. Shishiro? He called out my name as I briskly walked away.
Don't really know why I was so angry or confused, but I did notice that his voice was tinged with concern.
If anything should happen, feel free to contact me.
I considered turning back for a second, but changed my mind and pushed forward in a huff, leaving him behind. I'm home. Yui. Welcome back.
Greeting me at the door, my mother wore a somber expression. I could tell right away something had happened. I stared at her with scrunched eyebrows for an awkwardly long time before she eventually, reluctantly opened her mouth to speak.
About that old woman from this morning? Yeah? Hospital contacted me. She passed away a short while ago. No! I'm so sorry. You need to stay focused on tomorrow's exams right now, though. Yeah. We should put this unpleasantness behind us. I'm getting dinner started now, so how about you go get changed?
I mean, you could have just not told her until after she took the exam. Even if she asked, you could just lie and just say, I haven't heard anything, And then when, the exam was over, then let her know, find a good time for it,
Okay. I'll be in my room. I'll call you.
I watched my mom work her way back to the kitchen, then wriggled out of my shoes. My mood had darkened even more.
Tsukasa's attitude was bad enough, but for that old woman to have died? I turned to my room. I couldn't muster the energy to do anything but collapse into my chair and sprawl out on my desk. You must not go. The last thing the woman said to me echoed again and again in my mind. I began wishing I'd taken her more seriously. I should have accepted the paper doll and thanked her. I should have reassured her I wouldn't go to Heavenly Host Elementary. I mean, the place didn't even exist anymore, for goodness sake. I was exhausted. It was a hell of a day. I no longer even had the energy to move. I needed to change out of my school clothes, but still sprawled out over the desk, my eyelids drooped and closed. I was out. I woke with a start. The air in my room had gotten noticeably cooler, and I was shivering. I must have fallen asleep. Opened my eyes, I glanced at the clock. The needles indicated it was 6:45. It's already this late? It was black outside my window, streaked with lines from the still pouring rain. Sure hope it's sunny tomorrow. Sunny for my exam. The weight of what the next day held for me came rushing into my mind. I practiced the interview process with my teachers quite thoroughly, and I was still pretty nervous. Okay, I need to make sure I'm ready for tomorrow. There was still a little time before dinner. My mind swimming, I decided to take this opportunity to clean out all the notes and textbooks I wouldn't need tomorrow from my bag. Let's see, student ID needs to stay, obviously. Handkerchief and tissues. Gotta make sure I don't forget my exam ticket. Oh, and my pen case. Huh? Oh, crap. Where's my pen case? Did I leave it at school? My face suddenly went pale. Really, I shouldn't have been too concerned over writing implements. We had tons at home. But that case held the pencil that Tsukasa had given me for guaranteed success on my exam. I have to go get it! Hey, Mom, I forgot something at school. I'm going to run back for a sec. What? But dinner's almost ready. That's okay. I'll come right home. All right. It's still raining, though, so be careful. I will. Pencil was the one thing I absolutely needed to bring with me to the test, so without hesitation, I ran back down the road to the school. Aren't you going to the school for the exam? I guess you must not be, because otherwise, why would you need it? I was sprinting as close to full speed as I could get without slipping in the downpour. All the while, the numbers on my bedroom clock ran through my mind. 6:45. And if Kana's story was to be believed, Yoshie haunted the school building at 7. As soon as I arrived at the gate, I glanced up at the large clock adorning the schoolhouse. It was now 6:55. Yoshie ever after. I went over the whole scenario in my head as best I could recall it. After classes on a rainy day in October, 7 at night. Did that old woman somehow know this would happen? Get a hold of yourself, Yui! It's just some old campfire tale. I was talking to myself, reprimanding myself in an effort to quell the fear that was welling up in the pit of my stomach. There wasn't a soul to be seen on the grounds. By this time, the students had all gone home. I was wondering if any teachers were still around. Fortunately, the lights were still on, and it was bright enough that I felt confident I could make it to the classroom without freaking out. Okay, I'll just run up, grab the case, then come right back down. Oh, why is it suddenly dark? It wasn't dark from the outside. I folded up my soaked umbrella and left it on the rack by the entrance, then changed into my indoor shoes. Then, entering the brightly lit hall, I took another look around. Guess I was right, nobody's home. My deep sigh echoed through the deathly silent corridor. Ordinarily, the din of other students would drown out noises like this, but every little sound was coming through crystal clear at this late hour. I need to hurry, it's almost 7. I nervously sauntered toward classroom 3-4, picking up speed as it occurred to me to do so. About that old woman from this morning, she passed away a short while ago. It said that one day after school, a female teacher who had been patrolling the grounds slipped and fell down the stairs and died. I mean, actually, she was running from the principal who was trying to assault her, but still. The accident took place on a rainy day, and we already know this. Jeez, what the hell's wrong with me? Why am I letting this bother me so much? Tsukasa was right, I shouldn't dwell on this. Ah! Lightning flash and thunder resounded with impeccable timing. I jumped in spite of myself. I just need to hurry up those stairs, grab the pen case, and get the hell out of this creepy building. No ghost should show up in a well-lit building like this, right? And even if they did, it would be very scary under all these bright lights. That is not how that works! That is not at all how that works! I absolutely need that pencil for tomorrow's test. It's my good luck charm after all, and it's from Tsukasa. Pick up the pace as I continued to head straight for room 3-4. Something gonna happen? Wow, like, it was just really dark there for a while. The middle school is already pitch black. Guess there really is no one else around right now. And this hallway feels longer today than it ever has before. Is it always like this? Can't imagine I'd ever be on time if it were. I continued my brisk walk down the impossibly long hallway toward my goal, jumping every now and again when another thunderclap sounded. Kisaragi Academy was composed of both a middle school and a high school, and this building, it really felt like it was flaunting its massive size. It didn't help that my classroom was in the high school wing, which happened to be past the middle school, making it seem that much further away. When a building that's usually so full of life goes completely quiet, it becomes such a lonely place. Yes, this is why I don't go to it. People are like, yeah, oh look, it's an abandoned school, let's go check it out. Fuck that shit. I swear I could hear every drop of rain. I was focusing on the scant few sounds around me as I paced down that long, lonely corridor. Then, all of a sudden, I heard a faint noise, as of someone playing an organ. That was just my imagination, right? I mean, it had to be. There's no way anyone would still be here practicing, right? Took a deep breath, trying to calm my nerves. It was probably the sound of the rain, wind, and thunder mixing together. It just sounded like an organ, that's all. I was convinced. I kept walking. But then, I heard the same noise again, this time more clearly. It was unmistakable. Huh? No way! I was paralyzed with fear. My heart was pounding as if it were struggling to break free of someone's sinister grip. It's probably just some devoted member of the band, or a teacher who's working late. I'm just being stupid. Thinking about it, I vaguely recall someone mentioning an upcoming performance by the Wind Instrument Club. I guess an organ would qualify. Somebody must have stayed too late to practice, that's all. Can't get that damned ghost story out of my head. I took another deep breath and tried, again, to calm my overly jitty nerves. Anything can be scary if you think it is. This is very true. I'd heard that if you let your imagination run too wild, fear can make you see things that aren't there. That's also true. Happened to me. I have a very overactive imagination, which is why I really do not like horror movies. Horror video games are different because I'm playing. I feel like I have some semblance of control. Whereas in a movie, I just have to sit there and watch dumb people do dumb things and get murdered or worse. So, yeah. My imagination was most definitely running wild. I'm almost there. Might as well sprint the rest of the way. I decided to dash toward my classroom so I could get out of this hall as quickly as possible. Finally reaching that familiar door, I swiftly opened it and flicked on the lights. All right, I made it. Now I just had to be absolutely certain I don't leave here without that pen case again. Thanks to my unexpected pauses to freak out over the thunder and lightning, it took me far longer than it should have to get here. It was already well past 7. 7 o'clock, huh? It was the appointed time when the ghost of a teacher was supposed to appear, at least according to the school legend. No undead educators here. I let out a sigh of relief and relaxed my shoulders a bit. Lights were on both sides of the classroom and out in the hallway. Whoops, I missed that. Sure, it was still dead silent, but the fear I'd been feeling had completely melted away. Yeah, there's nothing to be afraid of. The 7 wonders aren't real. Grabbed the pen case I'd come back for and shoved it into my pocket. Okay, mission accomplished. With my long ordeal behind me, more or less, I looked around the classroom and let out another sigh. I'd only ever known this classroom when it was bustling with activity, and thus found its eerie silence and utter stillness to be oddly fascinating. Such a strange feeling, being alone in a classroom like this. I got the idea in my head to try doing something I normally wouldn't be able to, like standing at the teacher's podium and writing on the blackboard. Chances like this don't come around too often, after all. Okay, this is not the time. Definitely bad thing is going to happen. I don't know you. I know that you know you. I know that you don't know that you're in a horror game, but you need to leave! To me, the area behind the podium from which teachers conduct their lessons was a sacred space. I dreamed of standing there myself one day, and could hardly resist its pull when presented with a rare opportunity like this. Well, no one's looking. To my classmates, this would have seemed like a silly, stupid dilemma, but that didn't change the way I felt at the moment. Should I or shouldn't I? Why? Let's stand at the teacher's podium! How can I pass this up? It's a chance to feel like a real teacher. I decided I had to try it. During daily cleanup and such, I'd come and gone from this spot countless times, but this was the first time I'd ever had an opportunity to just stand there and preside over the class. So, this is how it feels to be a teacher, huh? It's kind of awe-inspiring. Gaining a teacher's point of view, in the most literal sense, was starting to get me really fired up. It may seem silly now, but this was my stage. This was where all my dreams would play out. Someday. I began to imagine the future that awaited me. Painstakingly detailing some new piece of knowledge for students sitting attentively at their desks. A good number of them sleeping, let's not lie. Gliding chalk across the board, filling it with information to aid them in their studies. Sure hope I can make the cut one of these days. I was getting so excited that even I began to think my behavior was a little strange. Maybe it was the juxtaposition of these joyous, freeing visions and the prickling dread I'd been feeling up until just a minute or two before. But then, in the blink of an eye, one of those two conflicting emotions completely overpowered the other. Oh! Oh no! Crap! Is this a blackout? Suddenly, my surroundings were bathed in darkness. Going stiff with shock, I stumbled back a step. My back struck the blackboard with a dull thud. What awful timing! I simply grabbed hold of the rail where the eraser sat. Felt the chalk dust against my fingertips. My panicked heartbeat was making it difficult to breathe. Was this caused by the thunderstorm? If so, it sure picked a fine time to turn the lights out on me. And what's more, I could still hear the sound of the organ. But no, it's an electric organ. How is it even possible with no power? You must not go! Was this what the old woman was trying to warn me about? I mean, she talked about heavenly hosts, so I think that, like I said, I think it's not about this. That's impossible. She was no fortune teller or psychic as far as I was aware. How could she possibly have known this would happen? Hell, if she were a fortune teller or a psychic predicting the future is the stuff of science fiction. I shook my head. I need to calm down. Maybe it's just this wing that lost power. Music room is still okay. That seems plausible, right? I curled my chalk-dusted fingers into a fist and silently tried to talk some sense into myself. I've got to get out of here. I shouldn't have been playing teacher. Should have been in and out by now. Cursing myself a little, I fumbled my way through the darkened classroom. Ah! Oh! Ooh, spent so much time in here, you'd think I'd be able to find my way out of it with my eyes closed, as it were. But sadly, that wasn't the case. Smashing loudly into a desk, I knocked it on its side and began tumbling after it, instinctively grabbing at other desks around me for support. Ugh! Damn it. Sounds like I knocked a lot of stuff out of that desk. Guess I'll need to put everything back. Still fumbling around blindly, I gathered up all the scattered notes, textbooks, and writing utensils. I can't tell what's what. This is so embarrassing. What the heck am I doing anyway? Wasn't I supposed to be hurrying home? I'm such a klutz. I let out a sigh. Seem to be doing that a lot lately. Okay, this is a textbook. This is a notebook, right? I was trying to take inventory of all the things I had knocked out of the desk and realized, why? I may as well just stand it back up and stuff it all back in. I couldn't possibly organize it properly in absolute darkness. Better just to apologize tomorrow to whoever sits here. Not that that was a particularly pleasant prospect. Explaining what I had done wouldn't be easy, and no matter how I sugarcoated it, it would serve as a clear indication of my clumsiness. If I didn't say anything, it's not like I'd be found out, but that would be the same as lying as far as I'm concerned, and I couldn't do that. Okay, I think I got everything. Placed my hand against the floor and swept it around, feeling for anything I might have missed. I found something, all right. You gross, what is this? It's all slimy. Ugh. I clearly brushed my fingers against something. I had no idea what. It was no notebook or writing implement, though, that's for sure. How would anybody have something like this in their desk? Maybe it had been on the floor all along. What is this stuff? I rubbed my sticky fingers a bit deeper into the wet spot, then brought it close to my face so I could get a better look at what was there. What on earth did I just touch? Ah! There was a flash of light almost immediately joined by a roaring thunderclap, and with it for a split second, the pitch-black room was lit up as bright as day. Ooh! God! Is that blood? I shot to my feet, utterly mortified. In that split second, I'd gotten a very good look at my fingers. It seemed as if they were covered in blood. It wasn't just my hand. No, if my peripheral vision were to be trusted, it looked like the entire classroom was stained a deep, dark crimson. Crap, it kind of smells like blood in here, too. Without thinking, I backed away from where I'd been crouching. Tried rationalizing what I saw. How could a whole classroom become a bloodbath like this? Did something spill? Did someone stumble in here injured? This isn't possible. It can't be. I mean, how? My whole body was quaking. I fled from the classroom. Or rather, I tried to flee. What? Why won't it open? No! Please, no! I don't remember locking it, and it isn't locked, so why can't I open it? I pulled on the door handle again and again in a frenzy. I was pulling so hard it felt like my fingernails might tear loose. But it just wouldn't budge. Why? Why, please? I was absentmindedly grabbing at my hair with one hand and slamming my fist on the nearby desk with another. This was a nightmare. Please, no. What is going on? Silence saturated the inky blackness of the room. I took several deep breaths in an effort to restrain my pounding heart. Calm down. I have to calm down. I'm probably just panicking because the door won't open. I'm sure I just misidentified whatever that is on the floor. I mean, it's preposterous, right? There's no way something like that could happen. I was certain that when I saw what it actually was come morning, it ended up being something totally random, like someone's old soda-stained gym clothes. That has to be it. Yeah. I probably just brushed against someone's paint for art class or something. My imagination was just running wild because I was panicking. And the door probably just has something caught in it, that's all. I decided to check out that hypothesis, by feeling my way across the floor and determining if anything was jutting out of any of the cracks.
Damn, not sure I can do this without being able to see.
Fumbled around the gaps in the floor, but I just couldn't make anything out that would be doing this. The classroom's rear exit seemed a world away.
Maybe there's another way out of here.
No, this was the 3rd floor. Couldn't get out of this classroom without exiting into the hallway.
Let me out. I want out!
Still at a loss, I noticed a sudden flash of light through the hallway window. The glass was only translucent, so I couldn't be sure of its source.
Is somebody out there?
Then came the distinct clomp, clomp, clomp of footsteps.
Oh, of course, it must be the custodian.
I recalled the existence of a custodian who always patrolled the school grounds. I was sure he must have been taking a look around after the sudden power outage.
Great, I'm saved!
All at once, my fear-addled legs regained their strength. This nightmare would be over soon.
Excuse me?
I shouted to the custodian through the window as loudly as I could muster.
Excuse me? I'm trapped in here!
I had to be sure he heard me. I shouted again. Finally, I could see the light out in the hallway again, and it seemed to be getting closer. However,
something's not right about this.
Perturbed, I took a step away from the window.
If that's a flashlight, shouldn't it be brighter? Kind of looks like
the faint, unearthly glow classically attributed to spirits was what I was thinking. Tried to stop myself from finishing that thought, however. Dullness aside, it also looked like it was wriggling around in a very unnatural manner. Very unflashlight like. That is a very difficult word. Unflashlight-like way.
And those footsteps.
4 clumps. Then a 3 or so second interval. Then another 4 clumps. They were sounding in a fixed rhythm.
That's no custodian. Nobody walks like that.
The fear was back in full force. I had to find somewhere to hide. What if I'd accidentally something inhuman? I mean, whatever it was, I begged it for help. I literally invited it in.
I need to hide, but where?
Oh, we're gonna save again. The teacher's podium. I hurriedly hid myself beneath the teacher's podium. I grabbed my knees, curled up, and made myself as small as I could.
What is this? What's happening?
Footsteps continued to draw nearer and nearer. Little by little, the sound grew closer. Every hair on my body was standing on end.
Please just pass by, please.
I held my breath, clasped my hands together, and silently prayed. They were close now, very, very close.
Please, God! Why was this happening?
I couldn't make any sense of it. I just wanted it to be over. I prayed to God that it would end. Was this what the old woman was trying to warn me about? Was this all happening because I ignored her? Because I didn't take the paper doll from her? Was it because I'd heard the ghost story of Yoshie and allowed it to get to me? Or did the strange events of the day have nothing to do with what was happening to me now?
Feels like my heart is going to burst out of my chest.
I was still holding my breath. I didn't dare let even the tiniest of sounds escape and give way to my position. And give away my position, my bad. Oh boy. Tap, 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 tap. Tap, 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 tap. Tap, 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 tap. Oh.
They're at the door.
The consistent rhythm of footsteps suddenly ended halfway into one of its cycles. It ended right in front of this very classroom. I had goosebumps up and down my arms and legs. I stopped praying and clasped my hands over my mouth. I knew I'd scream if I didn't. Could this be Yoshie? Was the school legend real? All I could do was close my eyes, keep my mouth shut, and hope that whoever or whatever this was would just go away. But the footsteps didn't start again. If this was indeed Yoshie, then she'd stopped in front of the classroom and was just standing there. I had no concept of time anymore. I stayed in my hiding spot for what was probably only a few minutes, but felt like at least an hour. Maybe whoever it was is gone. I started to carefully peek out from under the podium. I gingerly edged my head out just enough to get a glimpse of the room when suddenly... Footsteps rang out once more. It sounded like they were heading right for me. It might have been inside the room, I honestly couldn't tell. I scrambled back into my hiding spot and covered my mouth with both hands. Oh my god! This was way too much for me. My breathing was coarse and erratic, and my face was a mess of tears and snot. Oh my god! God, please, save me! Save me too! I am freaking out! I was inconsolable. The footsteps just wouldn't stop. What on earth were they doing? Almost sounded like they were running around in circles just to scare me. Stop it, please, please stop it! I mouthed those words over and over and moved my hands to my ears in a vain attempt to block out this torturous sound. And as if in response, the sound changed. It was a loud, dull thud, followed by silence. No more footsteps. I'd heard that sound hundreds of times before. It was a classroom door sliding open. I peeked out, but the door was still tightly shut. How could that be? If the sound I'd heard wasn't the door, then what was it? The little safety I'd felt here was pretty much gone, but to be fair, I wasn't absolutely certain the spirit had seen or heard me either. The process of stepping out into the open wasn't a desirable one, but I had to decide if it was better to stay where I was or make a break for it. Oh no! Why? Why so many? Let's make a break for it! Staying in one place for too long seemed like it would be inviting trouble, so I took a deep breath and reluctantly crawled out as quietly as I could. But almost immediately I felt something. Something long and thin had struck me in the back of the head. Or perhaps struck isn't the right word. There was little force behind it. It wasn't a hard slam, more like someone was trying to get my attention. Is that a wooden rod? Oh no, it's a finger. I knew I wouldn't like what I was going to see, but I had to face whatever this was, so I turned around. And there, looming over me was... Somebody still here? Go home, child. The figure was peering down at me from above the podium, with one emaciated wishbone-like finger extended toward my face. Oh my god. I recognized this person instantly, no doubt about it. It was the strange old woman who supposedly passed away earlier. I was scared out of my mind. I tumbled the rest of the way out from under the podium and shot to my feet. A ghost. There really was a ghost in the school. My breathing was ragged and my heart was pounding so hard I thought it might explode. Plowing through all the desks in my way, I ran as fast as I could toward the classroom door. But that was as far as I could go. What's wrong? There on the other side of the door, tied up against the glass, was the old woman. She was glowing bluish white, the source of the light from earlier. But how in the world did she get to the door before I did? How did she get out of the room so quickly and position herself so perfectly to block the exit? Oh no. Felt like I was starting to hyperventilate and tried as best as I could to calm my breathing as my eyes darted around the room. I needed to get out of here now, to get as far away from this place as I could. If the front door is blocked, maybe I can get out through the back. But if I do that, I can't leave the school without running right past her. There's no way she'd let me by, but I have to do something. bit my lip and continued scanning the room. Something. If I just had something I could use to fight back. I didn't have time to think carefully about it. I just had to grab something and hope for the best. There were two choices, and I had to pick one on impulse before it was too late. Oh, shit. Is the timer still going? It is. Okay. Bag of salt! Looks like leftover salt from an old chemistry experiment. Oh, God. Salt's good! Salt ward evil spirits away! I think. I hope. Heard that salt was used in purification rituals, so it seemed like a natural choice. Okay, this is coming with me! Place the salt in my pocket as a sort of protective charm. I'm scared, but, well, here goes nothing! I looked over. The spirit of the old woman was holding out her hand from the other side of the door frame. She really was trying to catch me. I wasn't just being paranoid. She's going to kill me and turn me into a ghost like her! I was convinced this had to be Yoshie, the teacher from the urban legend. No, I won't let her get me! Bracing myself, I darted toward the door at the back end of the classroom. There wasn't a moment to lose. If I didn't act fast, I probably wouldn't be able to act at all. I threw the door open and just began running at top speed, hoping to escape behind the spirit's back. Unsurprisingly, trying to outrun a ghost proved to be a fruitless endeavor. The spirit saw me and moved at breakneck speed to intercept. Stop! God, don't come any closer! I thrust my hand in my pocket and went through the bag of salt, then threw the entire thing directly at the old woman's face. Ah! She recoiled. Now's my chance! I ran down the hall as fast as my legs would carry me, briefly glancing over my shoulder after a moment to confirm that the spirit was still writhing. I just kept on running down that dark hallway with nothing but adrenaline and mortal fear to keep me going. I reached the stairwell at the end of the hall, made a mad dash toward the ground level. I was determined to get out of this building alive. Stop! Finally, still moving at top speed, I reached the window door leading outside. Almost there! I'm almost out! Luckily, the malevolent spirit hadn't caught up to me yet. It actually seemed like I might be able to escape. I might actually survive this. I made it! I grabbed the handle and tried to pull it. Huh? No, it's not opening! Why, I'm so close! Please open, I'm begging you! I have to think of something. At this rate, that horrible woman's going to... No, I can't let that happen. But what do I do? What can I do? Break the glass! Oh, hey. Putting my thoughts in order, I came to the sudden realization I was right near the umbrella racks. Unless the spirit had taken it or something, my umbrella should still be right where I left it. Ah, here it is! I practically tackled the rack, grabbing the umbrella in one swift motion. Not just the handle, mind you, but from the top. Then, taking aim at the glass part of the door, I swung as hard as I could, smacking it dead center with the sturdy plastic handle. That did not work! Glass wasn't going to break so easily, of course, but it did crack, giving me the impetus I needed to go for a second hit. Break, damn you, break! Again and again I struck the glass, had the umbrella gripped so tightly that the metal skeleton of the canopy was leaving indentations on my skin. I was sure there had to be a better way to do this, but I didn't have the luxury of time to figure out what it might have been. Well, why didn't you just pick up, like, the umbrella holder? Well, maybe it's, like, bolted to the ground or something, I don't know. Stop! You must not leave! She's coming this way! Oh. I began smacking the glass even harder, even faster. My hands were killing me, but this was the only hope of survival. Finally, after far too much effort. Yes! I did it! The glass shattered onto the floor, making one hell of a sound. Tepid air whooshed from the outside. It was still pouring rain, but I was free now, free to escape this hellhole. Okay. The pane I'd broken was on the lower half of the door. I didn't care if I cut myself. I got on my hands and knees and I crawled like mad. I did it. I'm almost outside. I can actually escape. I'm safe. I felt triumphant. For a brief moment, the fear was gone and I was basking in my victory over this malevolent entity.
Huh?
But it didn't last long. Before I was even halfway through the door, I felt something coiling itself around my arm. With a start, I looked back.
That's Yoshi.
You mustn't go outside. A tall, shadowy figure had appeared behind me in the entranceway. She had me in her grasp. There wasn't much more to her than an indistinct flickering silhouette, but I could clearly see she had a broken neck. Was this a different apparition? Yes, it is. That's Yoshie. Her scraggly, root-like fingers were squeezing my arm with tremendous force, pushing aside muscle and tissue, and pressing right on the bone.
No! What are you?
Where are you going, my dear? I'll just be a little longer, so won't you please wait for me? Oh, she thinks that we're Sachiko. Oh no.
That hurts! That really hurts!
I was shaking hysterically and tears were streaming down my face. I was absolutely convinced I was going to die here.
Let go of me!
Sachi. I could offer no resistance. She was too strong. All I could do was plead with her.
Stop! Please! You're really hurting me!
Felt like my arm would snap in two at any moment. Let's be together. Forever. She wasn't just grabbing, but twisting as well. Pain was unlike anything I'd ever experienced before. Couldn't think about anything else. My mind was absorbed by the unconscionable agony.
Shishiro! Tsukasa?
Thought my arm was about to snap off, and then all of a sudden I was whisked away. Whisked away by Tsukasa. You okay?
Why? Tsukasa?
No time to explain. We have to run.
What?
Tsukasa was still holding on to me tightly after saving me from the brink of death, led me back into the school at an incredible speed. Damn it, what the hell was that thing? Please tell me I'm just dreaming. He practically spit those words as he continued running.
Why is Tsukasa here?
Tried to match his gait, and once we were a bit more in sync, I looked up at his face. After he'd reached the end of the hall, he suddenly veered into the last classroom before the stairwell, pulling me in with him. Shishido, you okay? Holy fuck balls, man! Okay, this has taken a very interesting turn, but unfortunately, we are all out of time for this episode. So, this is where we're gonna have to call it. Oh my good God. Oh my God. Thank you everybody so much for watching. I appreciate you being here with me. Holy shit. I have next to no idea what's going on, but hopefully next time we'll get it figured out. Because, like, is Tsukasa somehow related to the old lady? Or, like, what's the deal here? I don't know. But I hope that we get to find out next time. So, thanks again, everybody. And, as always, if you enjoyed this as much as I did, you know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe if you're not already. Ring that bell for all them notifications is. And until next time, have yourselves a beautiful day, my beautiful viewers.